All right. You see that, don't you? Doctor compares condition at immigrant holding facility as, quote, torture facilities. ABC putting it out there. I'm going to read this story. From sleeping on concrete floors with the lights on 24 hours a day to no access to soap or basic hygiene, migrant children, at least two U.S. Custom and Border Protection facilities face conditions one doctor described as comparable to torture facilities. The disturbing first-hand account of the conditions were observed by lawyers and a board-certified physician in visits last week to the Border Patrol holding facility in Clint, Texas, and McAllen, a city in the southern part of the state. The description paints a bleak image of horrific conditions for children, the youngest of whom is 2.5 months old. He said the conditions within which they are held could be compared to torture facilities, the physician Dolly Luco Sevier wrote in a medical declaration obtained exclusively by American Broadcasting Company News. She said that, this doctor who works in private practice in the area was granted access to the Urosa facility in McAllen, which is the largest CBP detention center in the country, after lawyers found out about a flu outbreak that sent 5 infants to the neural intensive care unit. Fucking devils, man. After assessing 39 children under the age of 18, she described conditions for unaccompanied minors at the McAllen facility as including extreme cold temperatures, lights on 24 hours a day, no adequate access to medical care, basic sanitation, water, or adequate food. All the children were seen showed evidence of trauma, she reported, this doctor, Lucio. And the teens spoke of having no access to hand washing during their entire time in custody. She compared it to being tantamount to intentionally causing the spread of disease. In an interview with the American Broadcasting Company News, this doctor said the facility felt worse than jail. She said, it just felt, lawless, she said. I mean, imagine your own children there. I can't imagine my children being in there and not being broken. Conditions for infants were even more appalling. Okay, sorry about that. Battery's about to die. Where was I? Let's see. Conditions for infants were appalling. According to medical declaration, many teen mothers in custody described not having the ability to wash their children's bottles. And children who were older than 6 months were not provided age-appropriate meal options, including no pureed foods necessary for a child's development, the doctor reported. To deny parents the ability to wash their infant's bottle is unconscionable and could be considered intentional mental and emotional abuse, she wrote. The attorney who represents the children threatened to sue the government if they denied a visit from a physician. They are part of a team working under the Flores Settlement Agreement, a 1997 ruling that stipulated detention standards as unaccompanied minors for unaccompanied minors, including being held for less than 72 hours in a least restrictive settings appropriate to the child's age and special needs. As part of that ruling, the lawyers who are part of a class action lawsuit represent all children in custody. As such, are allowed to visit and interview them. This doctor has no connection to the lawyers aside from their request for a physician to be granted access. The legal team, also from the Flores Settlement Agreement Group, had negotiated access to the Clint facility in advance, and officials for CBP knew of their pending arrival for weeks. So they just didn't even give a fuck to even prepare for them to show up. Oh man. The alleged conditions documented at the facility follow a Homeland Security Inspector General report that found dangerous overcrowding and unsanitary conditions at a different CBP facility in El Paso, Texas, where hundreds more migrants were being housed than the center was designed to hold. The El Paso del Norte Processing Center housed as many as 900 migrant detainees earlier this month, despite only having a recommended capacity of 125. 125 is the capacity, and y'all had as many as 900? Man. The report came as President Flaming Hot Cheetos Donald Trump continues to make immigration a staple of his administration and a key issue in his re-election bid, which is bullshit. After threatening to deport more than 2,000 undocumented immigrants and then extending the deadline for 2 weeks, the president on Sunday